Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're kind of putting on our lab coats and bringing out our stethoscopes because we're going to diagnose a patient that practically every growing business has, your enterprise Wi-Fi network. I mean, think about it. As organizations grow, their connectivity demands literally multiply overnight. What works perfectly for a team of 10 in a single room? Yeah, that suddenly starts wheezing and coughing when you scale up to 100 employees across multiple floors. So today, we're using a medical framework to examine these growing pains, looking directly at the symptoms, the underlying causes, and most importantly, the cures.
Now, if you're an IT professional, an office manager, or just someone trying to get their work done, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You sit down to pitch your biggest client on a video call, and right at the punchline, boom, your connection drops. Or a simple file download takes 20 minutes. It's maddening. Why is enterprise Wi-Fi so notoriously frustrating as a business expands? Well, the answer is that network infrastructure just doesn't automatically scale with your headcount. You're adding new laptops, phones, smart screens, IoT devices, the whole shebang to a network that was simply never designed to handle that kind of load. And the resulting impact on your daily productivity? It can be massive.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our diagnostic roadmap for today. We've got 4 core treatment areas. First, we'll look at congestion and interference. Second, network dead zones. Third, cybersecurity risks. And finally, centralized management.
All right, let's start with area number 1, congestion and interference. This is basically the network equivalent of a clogged artery. And here's the primary symptom staring us right in the face: network congestion causing slower browsing and severe latency during peak usage. It happens when way too many devices attempt to connect to the exact same signal. You see this all the time in busy offices or crowded meeting centers. It reduces browsing speed to an absolute crawl. Imagine trying to run a dynamic modern company, but your essential cloud tools just keep freezing up because 30 people in the exact same room are all trying to pull data from a single access point. I mean, it completely paralyzes the workflow.
So what's the prescription here? The congestion cure really comes down to 3 specific steps. First, implement additional access points. You literally need to widen the highway. Second, execute proper channel planning so those access points aren't constantly stepping on each other's toes. And third, you absolutely must analyze your specific bandwidth needs and prioritize essential applications. This ensures that your mission-critical software keeps running smoothly in key areas, even when the network gets super busy.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that sometimes the congestion isn't even coming from inside the house. In shared spaces with other companies or in industrial environments, signal interference from other devices is a massive obstacle. And the direct cure here is proper frequency configuration. You got to move away from the crowded, highly shared 2.4 GHz band and switch over to the 5 GHz band. It is significantly less congested and provides a much more stable connection against those industrial signal clashes. But here's the catch. 5 GHz signals really struggle to pass through physical objects like thick concrete walls, which leads us directly to our next symptom.
Which brings us to Section 2, network dead zones. This is where the business's vital signs just flatline. If you've ever walked from your desk to a meeting room and watched your Wi-Fi bars vanish one by one, yeah, you've hit a dead zone. We see these common danger zones most often in sprawling warehouses, enclosed meeting rooms, remote offices, and particularly buildings with thick walls or multiple levels. The real pain here is that modern employees absolutely rely on constant internet access. So when they hit a physical barrier that blocks the signal, their workflow is instantly severed.
And this brilliantly illustrates the cure: a mesh network. You don't just guess where the signal drops, you actually conduct a detailed coverage analysis. Then, once you identify those dead spots, you deploy a mesh network, a system of repeaters or nodes. So instead of one giant router trying to shout through 3 concrete walls, you have a smart network of nodes passing the signal along, strengthening and extending the reach strategically across the business. It completely eliminates those blind spots.
All right, moving on to Section 3, cybersecurity risks. Now, a slow network is annoying, sure, but an insecure network, that's genuinely dangerous. So what's the catalyst for these attacks? Well, as companies grow, they increasingly rely on cloud applications and IoT devices. Your network boundary isn't just a few desktop computers anymore, it's a sprawling web of connected smart devices. And an inadequately protected enterprise network basically provides a wide-open door for unauthorized access. This actively, silently jeopardizes your company's most confidential information.
Because of that, these cybersecurity prescriptions are non-negotiable. First up, advanced encryption to scramble your data from prying eyes.
Next, multi-factor authentication, or MFA, to ensure that the people logging in are exactly who they claim to be. And finally, regular security audits. Think of proactive audits as regular health checkups for your network. They help identify potential breaches and vulnerabilities before they become fatal to your business.
Finally, let's look at Section 4, Centralized Management.
For a lot of companies, especially those without massive, dedicated IT teams, managing this growing web of tech is just overwhelming. Look at the difference here. With an unmanaged network, your approach is purely reactive. You're only fixing things when they break. You've got blind spots in visibility, and your insights into expansion needs, pure guesswork. But with a centrally managed network, it's a game changer. You can make proactive adjustments, you have real-time monitoring of the system's vital signs, and you get detailed reports that allow managers to effortlessly assess expansion needs without needing to constantly hover over the server rack.
So, the crucial point is simply this. You don't have to manage this all alone. If your business is experiencing these growing pains, expert partners like Beyond Technology offer consulting and services designed precisely to optimize your infrastructure. They can step in, take that complex, overwhelmed system, and transform it into a reliable, robust platform that actually meets the modern demands of your business.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. I want you to take a hard look at your own office tomorrow. Is your Wi-Fi network a fragile bottleneck that slows your team down every single time the office gets busy? Or is it a robust, secure, centrally managed platform that's ready to accelerate your company's growth? By diagnosing these symptoms early and applying the right cures, you can ensure your infrastructure is a true asset, not an obstacle. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope you're walking away today with a clear prescription for your network's future.